Hello, everybody, and welcome to your writer's warm-up from Jesse Stong and Playwrights Workshop Montreal. Hello, everybody. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Joanna. I can't see who else is here. I hope everything's working okay. It's such a pleasure to be here. I actually had today's activity. I thought of it in a dream. I had a dream that I was doing this, and I thought, I woke up and said, it's a good activity. I'm going to do that activity. So we're going to do that activity. I want you to get out your paper and pencils. Paper and pencils, yeah, and your pens. Remember, try to be writing. I like when you handwrite your activities, because you have some sort of physical disability or intellectual disability and need to type, that's okay. But if you don't need to type, it's a really good idea to free write your work so that you can have a different connection to the work. You can go back and edit later. Let me know in the comments if the sound is screwed up. I'm hoping we can do 5 minutes of writing. We're going to do a 5-minute flow. I sound like my yoga teacher. We're going to be a 5-minute flow. I'm going to give you a cue every 1 minute during the flow. Oh yeah, it's true, Madeline. Yeah, I dream of you every day. And in the dream, I had a little bit of time at the end to talk to you. I wasn't rushed, so I'm going to hope that dream comes true. I'm not even going to explain this activity. I'm going to explain it after the fact, but it's a new one that I thought of in my dreams. What you need right now is you need to think of a character. If you don't have a character, just imagine one up out of the abyss. And I want you to think about an emotion. I think we did a show don't tell emotion video before. Check that out, but this is a different one. I want you to think about an emotion that they're feeling, something that they're feeling, something that they're processing. It could be something specific, like I'm angry at my sister for being annoying. My dad's going to like that one because she's annoying. But we could be annoyed at my sister, or it can be very general. It can be like, I feel annoyed. It can be really time sensitive, like I feel rushed this morning. Or it could feel like very open, I feel rushed in life, right? So I want you to just think of an emotion that you know your character is feeling. And when you notice in your writing that you've said out loud what your character's feeling, I feel sad, I feel mad, I'm angry with you. Sometimes we have to do that to clunk it out and to like get what we're trying to say out on paper. But often that's the best thing you can do when you're looking through your script is look for times where you explicitly said out loud what you're feeling, where you told people what you're feeling instead of showing them what you're feeling. That's what this exercise is all about. So hopefully you have in your mind a character who's feeling something and you wrote that down at the top of your page. Are you ready? Here we go. We're going to do 5 minutes and I'm going to give you cues every minute. I want you to just free write as fast as you can. Try to surprise yourself. You're writing in the voice of the character if you want, or it can be point form notes, or you can bounce back and forth between whatever you want. The point is this is not a story. This is not your final piece. This is just working towards understanding more about this character's emotion. Okay, so your character has an emotion. They're mad, they're sad, they're happy, they're elated, whatever. What I want to do is we're going to go through a journey with that emotion. So first thing you're going to do for 1 minute, I hope people aren't joining you too late. I don't want to explain it 10 times. First thing you want to do for 1 minute, I want you to write as the character or write about the character denying that emotion. 1 minute, denial. How do they avoid it? How do they confuse it? How are they shocked by it or not processing it? How are they afraid of it? Are they elated? Are they afraid? How are they denying and avoiding this emotion? 1 minute, ready, set, go. Deny it, deny it, deny it. You're not stuck how you started. Try different ways to deny it. They know they're feeling something, but they're denying it at this point. How do they lie about it? Just think images, don't edit. Think, are they confused? How do they avoid this emotion in life? 30 more seconds. Are they afraid? Or is it a complete denial? Is it blocked completely from their unconscious or in their unconscious? How does your character deal with denial? 10 more seconds. Deny, deny, deny. Good, so we're thinking of a character who's going through an emotion. And right now, the first thing is, you're probably going to figure out what we're doing here pretty quickly. But the first thing is they've denied that emotion. Now we're moving on to phase 2. They might blend together, so just keep flowing. Now they're going to be angry about it. They're frustrated about it. This emotion is irritating them. This emotion is making them anxious. How do they get angry about it? How do they process that it's happening, but they don't like it? See what happens. Maybe it'll be different for you. Anger. Angry about this emotion. 1 minute. We're thinking of a character who's going through an emotion. And right now, they've denied it. Now they're angry about it. They're fighting it. How do they fight? Why are they angry about it? Maybe they're not in your story, but try to write around it. 30 more seconds. What about this emotion is hard to process? Do you want to fight against this emotion or this revelation? Don't edit. Keep writing. Blah, blah, blah till the next word comes. 15 more seconds. Get them angry. What about this emotion bothers them? What do they wish was happening? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So they've denied this emotion they're feeling. They've gotten angry about this emotion they're feeling. Now we're moving into bargaining about this emotion. So they're struggling to find the meaning of it. So they haven't found the meaning yet. They haven't accepted it yet. They're just starting to bargain. How are they going to reach out? How are they going to tell the story? How are they going to struggle to find the meaning? How do they bargain with this new emotion before accepting it? So just bargain. See what tricks they come up with. People are very tricky. How is your character tricky? Trying to bargain, trying to be like, okay, I'll deal with this if you give me this. Okay, I'll process it as long as it's this kind of story. What do they say? 1 minute, go. How do they negotiate their fate, their feeling? Your character's processing an emotion, something they feel, and at this point they're trying to bargain with the fates. I'll accept it if. 30 more seconds. Write in point form. Forget sentences. Just blah, blah, blah. They'll bargain. I'll accept this emotion if I get something in return, or if I can frame it in a certain way. 10, 15 more seconds. It's a lot like denial bargaining. It's like, okay, I can take control of this somehow. Five more seconds. Just write it down. Don't think. Good. So they've avoided it. They've denied it. They've gotten angry about this emotion. They've like processed it. They've started bargaining. This is depression is next. So the depression. Wait, did I do depression already? Depression. So they've accepted it now in a way, but they're not fully at acceptance yet. Now they're hit with the emotion. They realized what it is. They realize they have no control over it. They have to process it somewhere. But this is the depression phase. They're overwhelmed. Maybe they're feeling hostility. Maybe they're trying to flight from it. Maybe they're closed off. How do they deal with like that darkest day before the dawn where it seems very obvious that this is their fate? And it's just this emotion is depressed, has depressed them, has staled them, has stopped them. See what happens when you play with that for 1 minute, go. This emotion is making me depressed. I'm not denying it, but I'm also not accepting it. I'm stuck with it. What does that stuck come out as? Think images. Physically, how do they act when they're stuck? Don't get tired. Write faster. You have 1 more minute after this. Go. So race. Something I'm feeling is really sinking in. I'm really facing it now. 15 more seconds. Five seconds. What's the epitome of like, okay, I can't be any more, like I have to accept this now? What's the edge of that? It's like, I can't sit in this darkness anymore. It's time to accept it. Let's do the last one, okay? It's acceptance. I'm starting to see how I have to accept this emotion. It leads to other options that I need to explore. It leads to a new plan being put into place. It leads to me realizing something and moving on. So you started with a feeling, you denied it, you got angry about it, you got depressed about it, you tried to bargain it away, and now you're accepting it. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that taste like? What does that smell like? How does your character accept this emotion and integrate it into their experience? 1 minute, go. What does it lead to? How does it change them? Try a few different options. You're not stuck with one. Maybe they could accept it in different ways. Or maybe they can't accept it. Right about that. "20 more seconds. Accept it. Get over it. Accept it. Move on." "10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to blab for like 4 more minutes. But as I'm blabbing, write in the comments about what's something you got from that activity, something that came to you, something that surprised you, something that you didn't realize, right? The reason why I like this, we just did those are obviously the Kubler-Ross grief cycle, right? The cycle of grief. And I always say, look at psychology when you're writing, because psychology is a process that's based on the way we think, the way we feel. And if a play doesn't line up with our psychology, it doesn't really hit all the marks, right? Like the processes of grief are really about the processes of acceptance. Accepting something new. And a plot is something that new circumstances arise, new challenges, things that you have to accept, and things need to change on the external environment. But a real play is about the internal environment. It's about how do I take these circumstances and how do I change? How do I accept new feelings? It's about feelings, a play, right? And when you do activities like this, you really, really want to go through the free writing you did and look for anything that's an image, anything that's an emotion, anything that's showing, not telling, right? And any memory that comes out of it is probably a very important thing. What did I write here? Yeah, it's like every good play is about accepting something, but we don't want to see a character come out and they're like, "I'm mad," is the first thing they say. And then they walk around being mad, and then they say, "I'm still mad," and maybe in the last 5 seconds they say, "Okay, I feel better." That's not the whole process of being mad. We want to see them not mad. We want to see them becoming mad and get triggered. We want to see them get to the climax of their anger and then come down from it, right? Craig says, "It surprised me that the character I chose had not really processed his grief. This gives me some motivation and action." Yeah. And sometimes when we're writing about something personal where we have processed it, we forget how to go back to that space where we forgot what it was like before we learned how to process our grief. You got to really go back into that headspace before, right? Patricia says, "Max is involved in an external conflict that expresses his internal conflict." Yeah. Well, the whole thing is theater is a metaphor, life is a metaphor. Everything that's happening on stage, that's why you don't want to waste an object. You don't want to waste something. Everything has symbolism on stage, whether you're in control of that or whether your audience is unconsciously answering that. Oh, Tyson says, "I've come to realize Seth tries to kill himself, but he can't, and he sleeps for 3 days in his depression." Yeah, people react to depression in very different ways. Some people go comatose, some people get busy. So that's why this is a good activity to do again with your other characters as well. Think about, they have a feeling. I know they have a feeling because I discovered they're feeling something. What's the processes of that feeling, right? He comes to accept his friend's death through thinking about his own death, maybe, yeah. So I just want you to think about that as like, you don't have to necessarily follow that linear track. Your character doesn't have to go from denial to anger to bargaining, depression, acceptance. That's the way generally our psychology sort of works. But we take different leaps and we go back and forth and we stay in certain periods longer than others, right? Tyson's character slept for 3 days in depression, right? And maybe your whole play takes place in those 3 days of depression. You don't have to show everything in the world in a play, right? It's good to specify. But generally, if you start by following the psychology, that the philosophy of like the grief stages, or if you follow a psychology, you'll learn how to play with it, right? Picasso knew how to draw a face perfectly. That's why he was able to disjoint and fracture and fragment and make something powerful out of the fragments of that, right? And it's the same. Know the psychology of your character, and then you can mess with it. But don't mess with it till you really have all the elements of their psychology. I hope that was helpful. Like and share if you care. It's really important that you share this video. Share one video. Help me out here. Or at least just like the video. Write something in the comments. I hope that was helpful. The stages of grief, the stages of accepting something. Make sure you show us all those stages and maximize the theatricality of each stage. Don't rush through anything. People want to see your characters evolve and transform. You got to break it down into pieces and never tell them. You got to show them. Oh, I think I'm on time today. Oh, right on time. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you all for coming. I hope you can share this and like it. And I hope you're having a wonderful day and you're proud of yourself for all the work you're doing. It's amazing. You're showing up, you're writing, you're keeping the thread. Your story depends on you. So keep going. Do some of the old activities again. Watch what happens. I just did one of my own activities the other day. It was very weird. I taught myself, but try some of them out for other characters. Go back in time, you know. That's it for today. I'll see you all Monday. Bye, bye, bye. Love you all. Have a good night. Night. Have a good day. Bye. See you later.